The National Women's Hockey League, founded in 2015. The first professional women's hockey league to pay its players a salary. Home to Olympic medalists, international stars, and collegiate champions.
As soon as the NWHL was announced, I was a fan. I wanted it to succeed for a myriad of reasons. The first being that any paid women's league is a huge step forward for professional women's sports. But I watch hockey at an obsessive and excessive level. You don't need to try very hard to sell me on professional hockey at any level. It was history in the making. Even the CWHL wasn't paying their players at the time. That an American league could step up to the plate and beat the Canadians at their own game? That was astonishing to me.
Then they released the names and logos of the founding 4 teams, and man, was I hooked. There were 4 teams announced in the 3 largest non-Minnesotan hockey markets: Buffalo, New York City, and New England. The Boston Pride had jerseys reminiscent of the Bruins, and had a roster featuring Olympic superstar Hilary Knight. The Buffalo Beauts had star defenseman Megan Bozak, goaltender Brianne McLaughlin, Kelly Stedman, and a cool mascot. The Connecticut Whale had the most obvious built-in marketing there is.
And then there were the New York Riveters. What a badass logo. What a unique name. I bought a shirt before a game was even played.
There is no bigger feminist icon than Rosie the Riveter. She is a symbol of strength, independence, and perseverance. A model of toughness that any woman, young or old, can look up to.
Okay. Technically, this isn't Rosie the Riveter. I know, I was shocked too, but a history teacher friend of mine alerted me to the common misconception.
Rosie the Riveter is, in actuality, the name of a woman depicted in a Norman Rockwell painting. She's a bit bigger in stature, has red hair, and is physically holding a rivet gun. This picture does not really have a name beyond "We Can Do It."
And, okay, you call We Can Do It woman Rosie the Riveter, no one's gonna call you out on it. Common, understandable mistake. A team called the New York We Can Do It's wouldn't sell as well. What's funny is actually trying to determine who the real Rosie is.
The woman who modeled for Norman Rockwell was named Mary Doyle Keefe. We Can Do It was for many years credited to be a woman named Geraldine Doyle. In the 1980s, the We Can Do It poster began circulating in the mainstream again, as it made the cover of Smithsonian Magazine. It was discovered that the design for We Can Do It was based off of a press photo from the 1940s.
Doyle saw the press photo, remembered a brief stint as a factory worker in Michigan when she was 18 during the war, and claimed she recognized herself. She had never posed for or even met J. Howard Miller, she had no recollection of being photographed, and she couldn't really offer any other kind of proof other than, "That looks like me." The world kinda said, "Aight," and Doyle was given credit as the original Rosie. It wasn't until last year, well after Doyle's death, that the photo was found to have been taken not in Michigan, but rather in California. A Seton Hall research team debunked the myth and determined the true identity of Rosie the Riveter, Naomi Parker. Can you imagine claiming to be a really famous figure and everyone just kind of accepting it on your word? That's not Rosie the Riveter, that's Rosie Ruiz riding the subway and claiming victory in the Boston Marathon. I mean, that's like me claiming I'm the Angels in the Outfield kid because I've been to Disney. I mean, it's not even like we look alike, Oh my God. Anyway.
The New York Riveters played their first season in Brooklyn at the Aviator Center. As much as I would have liked to go to a game during the inaugural season, from my house to the arena would have been roughly a 3-hour trip, so travel was going to be impossible. My brother wound up going to a game though, and he said he had a good time. I would watch the live streams on the league's free online service. For most venues, only one camera angle was used, a giant netting was often in the way of filming, there were no replays, and on the rare occasions there were scoreboard graphics, the time was not displayed.
It was a work in progress.
The games themselves, though, were entertaining, and with nothing but grassroots online marketing, they were getting viewership. League officials confirmed over 23,000 unique viewers tuned in for opening weekend. League Commissioner Danny Rylan appeared on MSG's Hockey Night Live to promote the league. Riveters players appeared on Islander intermission reports. Women's hockey is growing every year. Enrollment among female players in USA Hockey has been growing at almost 5% every year. The 2014 gold medal game between USA and Canada drew 4.9 million viewers on network television, with an additional 1.2 million watching online. That marked a 96% increase from the 2010 gold medal game, and the highest rating for a women's hockey game since 2002. Plus, you can factor in that, according to SportsMediaWatch.com, approximately 36 to 42% of viewers for the 2015 Stanley Cup were women, which is the highest ceiling for any sport other than World Cup soccer.
About halfway through the inaugural season, a significant deal was struck with NESN. 4 Boston Pride home games would air on network television. Though no money exchanged hands in the deal, the league got much-needed exposure, and NESN got a huge PR boost, plus programming for Sundays, which was otherwise their slowest day of the week. The Pride even got to play outdoors against the Montreal Canadiens of the CWHL as a precursor to the Winter Classic that year. It wouldn't be televised or anything, but it was still a landmark moment. Now here's where things get complicated. I would love to say that the game went perfectly, that the league continues to flourish to this day, and pretty soon we'll see network televised games across the league, or even better, an NHL partnership. I would love to, but I can't.
The outdoor women's hockey game was played a day before the Classic. Temperatures were in the 40s. NHL players out practicing for the Classic complained that the ice was slushy and dangerous. One Pride player said conditions were awful. With less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half, Boston Pride forward Dena Lang appears to trip over a stick. She goes headlong into the boards and ends up paralyzed.
With the league's first crisis on its hands, the coming months were about finding silver linings in otherwise difficult situations.
Yes, Lang's life-altering injury was nothing short of tragic, but Lang herself has shown nothing but boundless positivity, and she has become a symbol of the league's strength. Her teammates would rally and win the first ever Isabel Cup that year. The Boston Bruins and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman both offered support for the Lang Foundation. The league gets into financial trouble with investors, and players have their salaries cut in half. Big-name players start retiring. All of that is wrong. But let's try to spin this. It throws down the gauntlet to fans that it's on us to keep the league alive, and in a sense, the public can come together and directly contribute support. It's responsibility, too much to put on the average hockey fan. But in a weird way, it does build a die-hard fan base.
Now that's being extraordinarily kind, but maybe I'm being overly optimistic because of how badly I want this league to succeed. Good news does start to flow in. The Riveters moved to the Barnabas Health Hockey House, practice facility of the New Jersey Devils, directly adjacent to The Rock. Is it harder to get to via public transport? Yes. Is it a much nicer venue with a much more viable hockey market than Brooklyn? Hell to the yes. Then, the Riveters get the big one. The prize signing. The belle of the ball. Goddess of hockey. USA Wonderkind. Amanda freaking Kessel. Woo! Now that's what I'm talking about. Amanda Kessel is the shit. Olympian, Minnesota hockey superstar. She is the real deal, and now she is a New York Riveter.
Kessel becomes the highest paid player in the league at $26,000 pre-salary cut. She joins Hillary Knight, Brianna Decker, and Megan Bozak as Olympic stars, making it to the NWHL. Oh, and you might have heard of her brother. I don't know, I think he sells hot dogs?
Kessel instantly becomes the league's most popular player. For the second year in a row, the league's top-selling jersey is a Riveter. I mean, look, even I got one. The first year, it was Japanese goaltender and all-around adorable human being, Nana Fujimoto. This could be coincidence, but that season, the NWHL All-Star Game is held in Pittsburgh, where Phil Kessel happens to play for the Penguins. Even though there's no NWHL team in Pennsylvania, the game sells out thanks to a joint marketing effort with the Pens.
The Riveters start drawing more fans. The move in Kessel's name power helps out a ton. Plus, Rivs players come out to Devils events and help promote the games. I give the players a ton of credit. A lot of the marketing rests on their shoulders, and they do it all enthusiastically and personably. They couldn't be more likable. As for the rest of the NWHL, the Boston Pride continue their run of dominance into the next season. They take an undefeated record into the last week of the regular season before losing to, who else? The New York Riveters. Buffalo Buttes forward Harrison Brown comes out as the first openly transgender active athlete. And he's not just some role player, he's a bona fide star, and one of the best penalty killers in the league.
Even though the league has been going through, to put it lightly, growing pains, the play on the ice is superb. So we're nearing the end of the regular season year 2. The Riveters are trying to lock up second place. Katie Fitzgerald is well on her way to winning Goaltender of the Year. Amanda Kessel is racking up multi-point games left and right, and fan favorites Rebecca Russo and Madison Packer are helping lead the charge.
I happened to be down in Jersey with 2 of my buddies from college, Mac and Rob. I'd been imploring them to come with me to a game, so we make our way to the Rock. I'm decked out in my Amanda Kessel jersey, as you can see.
What follows is undoubtedly the greatest game in league history. Definitely in the regular season, but probably including the postseason too. The Riveters are hosting the Connecticut Whale, with whom they have already established a heated rivalry. People always ask me when I tell them about a professional women's hockey league, oh, is there fighting? Well, full checking may not be allowed, but that does not mean that there's no grit or no fighting. In their first season, the Riveters and the Whale had a full-on line brawl. When there's only 4 teams involved, you form a history pretty quickly. Hockey's hockey. Also, if you think that fighting legitimizes hockey, you're a prick. So this game was huge for the rivalry, and it could ultimately clinch second place for the Riveters. It was so cool, I can't tell it alone. So here to tell it with me is fellow fan and fellow witness from Devil's Army blog, Rob DeLuca. So, this game. Oh my god, this was the greatest thing ever! What a comeback! Oh my god! I apologize for that mental leave of absence there. I don't quite know what came over us, but this game was awesome.
Oh my god, what a comeback. Unbelievable.
The New York Riveters staged the biggest comeback in league history, and it's one of the coolest sporting events I've ever seen live.
Oh, absolutely. In person, no doubt.
Unbelievable. So here's what happened, right? Here's what happened. So I have been begging Rob for months to go to a game with me.
Yeah, it was either timing didn't work out, because I wanted to go once Casey told me about it, but finally, timing worked out with Maris Hockey and being at my house.
Yeah.
So on the way back, we're like, we'll stop at the Rivs game.
And on the way there, I'm trying to give them a little bit of an education on the team itself, like who's good, who to look for, and I build up like the goaltender. Katie Fitzgerald is on her way to winning Goaltender of the Year.
I'm pumped at this point. Casey's got me going.
Katie Fitzgerald is the starting goaltender. A little bit early, teams are feeling each other out, back and forth action. At the 1 minute mark, first shot of the game, Connecticut Whale score.
It's a good breakaway.
But okay, this happens. I was
like, all right,
early goal, but plenty of time. 2 minutes in, second shot of the game, Whale score again.
At this point, I'm like, all right, you know what? I've seen it before. It's not actually out of the ordinary. I've seen it done before.
So you weren't regretting coming yet?
Not yet.
Because I'll be honest, when the second shot goes in on the second shot of the game, I'm thinking to myself, God, they are going to hate me for dragging them to this, okay? But if you weren't regretting it yet, then surely you were regretting it 40 seconds later. Because 2:39, Whale score on the third shot of the game. Fitzgerald is pulled.
Yeah.
It is now 3-0.
I heard that the Rivers were in second place, but it made me want. I asked Casey, I'm like, Casey, are the Whale in first place? And you said, no, they are in fourth.
Yes.
And there are 4 teams. So I was like, well then.
Yeah. Crowd is getting restless. And it's back and forth action. The Riveters are getting some good chances.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. It's an exciting hockey game. The backup is in now.
Yeah, Sarah Bryant comes in.
Sarah Bryant is in. Sarah Bryant, it's about 7 minutes later. Now we're at the 9 minute mark. The Whale come back and threaten again. It's their first time threatening in a long time. Bryant hasn't faced a shot.
Yeah, the Riveters seem to have settled down, yeah.
Yes, so the Whale, they have a try on a bad angle.
Right.
Far corner. Bryant hugs the post, makes the initial save, rebound goes in. Bryant is now 1 for 2 on saves. Whaler up 4-0.
At this point, I'm staring at Casey like, I'm here to watch a blowout. I was here to watch a good game.
So Brian gets pulled again. So Fitzy's back. So it's now 4-0. I can't think of an example in the modern era where a goaltender gets pulled and then gets brought back. I mean, because when you think about it, in the NHL, when you're a backup goaltender, you go in there and you take your licks. You acknowledge, okay, we're punting tonight, and
Al Montoya!
Sometimes you're Al Montoya, where you start the game and you're just hung out to dry because Price has a game the next day. So you're playing the Blue Jackets and you're just left out. And who cares? You're a backup goaltender.
Yeah.
Here, the Riveters are fighting for something, so they put Fitzy back in. So I've never seen that before. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Once, Garth Snow got ejected, so DiPietro had to come back in.
That doesn't count. Ejection doesn't count.
Well, then the answer's no.
So the Whale end the first period up 4-1.
I was happy to see the Riveters score. I'm like, It only takes one goal, especially towards the end of a period, to turn things around. So I'm starting to get back into it.
There's 40 minutes of hockey.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen like a 3-goal comeback?
Exactly. And here's the being a Devils fan, I always know about never giving up hope. Hope dies last.
Yeah, sure. Hey, good luck with Travis Zajac, eh? Riveters are threatening all second period.
Yeah.
They come out of the gate flying.
Yeah, moving quick, moving the puck. I liked what I saw.
7 minutes in, Whale score again, 5-1.
That's right.
I mean, I'm uncomfortable. I'm sweating. It's freezing in the rink. I'm sweating. Because I want this team to do well so badly, but I also want to keep a good impression with my friends where, hey, I know what's cool and what's good hockey.
I knew the Riveters were having a good season, but this was like, oh great, we're the bad luck charm.
It's the end of the second period now, and the Rivs, again, fight back and get one
another
back.
late goal. Again, I'm like, okay, this 3-goal thing can happen. And then, Casey, as we remember, something came in.
Lay it on me. What was it?
We switched seats.
The three of us juggled our seat orientation. So I believe, Rob, you were in the middle.
I might have been in the middle, yes.
I believe you were the centerman. We shifted you over to the wing.
Yes, and you
Adam Henrique, you shifted from the center to the wing.
You put me outside right wing, we put you in the center, and Mac on the far left.
Yes, like JT Miller, you went from the center to the wing.
Right.
I'm going from the wing to the center.
It's beautiful.
Everything's bebopping and scatting. We're trying to get the Quan back.
Gotta get the momentum flowing.
And what do you know? 2.5 minutes into the third period, Janine Weber scores.
I'm gonna miss her.
Yeah. So Kessel has her third assist of the game. It's now 5-3, and we said to ourselves, great, we needed to get one early. We got one early. We're back.
We are back.
Then, 12 minutes in, Michelle Picard scores.
Now we've got a game. You need one goal in the next 8 minutes.
So now it's getting crazy. Rob, Mac, and I are starting chants.
Fans are in it now. We got the fans back in it. We're ready to go.
It's a packed house. Then, 13 minutes in, just over a minute later, Mie Dench.
Here's a shot. Score! This game's tied with 6:56 to go. Down 5-1. They've tied it. Oh, the Riveters just keep on fighting.
It is lit.
One of the players you hyped up to me the most.
Of course, because Mie Dench, such a good puck mover, ties the game.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful goal, and it 5-5. Place erupted.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God.
The roof comes off the joint. So overtime starts. It's pretty early into overtime, but it is all Riveters.
Oh yeah, they're moving the puck.
Katie Fitzgerald has settled down beautifully in the final 2 periods of the game. She doesn't get tested at all in overtime.
Right.
So the Riveters get a power play. They're threatening. The Riveters are threatening.
Yeah.
Amanda Kessel finds Courtney Burke. High slot.
And you know she's got a big shot, so something good was coming.
Courtney Burke fakes the shot, steps to her left, wrist shot, past the leg pad, game over, comeback complete, 5-1 down, Riveters win 6-5 in overtime.
Seriously, the single greatest comeback I've ever seen in person.
24th. Anya, your final thoughts on a crazy game?
And we've seen some incredible comeback efforts, I think even televised.
Yeah,
This ranks as one of the coolest comebacks I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you have to think about where mentally the Riveters were.
Yeah.
If they're down 5-1, they've pulled their goaltender twice.
I thought the game was like, oh my God, if the Whales score one more, this game is dead.
Yes.
But then I noticed Fitzgerald settled down.
Yeah.
The Riveters got the late one. I'm like, something's happening here. I could see it in the Riveters, like
They just kept skating.
They feel something's coming.
Unbelievable game. So, go Riveters.
Go Riveters.
Oh my God.
I'm excited for next season.
Oh, dude,
Is
I
it
can't
is
wait.
it October yet?
Burke moves, shot, save, we're gonna score! It's over! The Riveters have completed the greatest comeback in NWHL history! They win it in overtime, 6-5!
In a fledgling league, you need these comebacks and these dramatic finishes to give yourself history. You need stories, things that you can look back on and say, hey, remember that game? Matt Falkenberry, the Riveters play-by-play announcer, said that after the game, he couldn't help but go back and watch the overtime winner repeatedly. It was an iconic moment.
It's unfair to compare the NWHL to the NHL, just as it's unfair to compare the WNBA to the NBA, the NWSL to MLS. Men's leagues have had decades, even centuries, of a head start. So, if a women's league comes along and doesn't succeed right away, we cast it aside. If there's even the slightest perceivable disparity in quality, we write it off. It's not worth your time. Bullshit. The NWHL is awesome. It's so much fun. It is totally worthy of your time and attention. It needs your time and attention in order to survive. This isn't like a men's league where you can ignore it on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis and know that you'll wake up tomorrow and it'll still be there. A women's league needs something that no other sports league asks of a fan. Effort.
There is no justifiable reason not to fall in love with these women, because hockey is hockey. It's lovable in any form, at any level. But the NWHL is something special. In a world where athletes are standoffish and unavailable, giving white bread interviews and stale answers, how often do professional athletes sit at a table for hours after a game meeting and greeting fans, win or lose? Dreams are born before your eyes as young children get to meet professional hockey players, see them up close, want to be them. Gender doesn't matter to the young.
3. The NWHL!
And some of the players that retired because of the wage battle are coming back, like the Riveters' Madison Packer. Harrison Brown delayed his physical transformation for the love of the game. The league even struck a deal to have games live broadcast on Twitter this year. Even the postseason was lit. The Buffalo Beauts upset the Riveters and the Boston Pride in the finals in an exhilarating playoffs. There's reason to believe. Most, if not all, of the players have to work full-time jobs in addition to playing. Riveters captain Ashley Johnston makes 6 figures as a robotics engineer. Look me in the eye and tell me Kevin Hayes can even spell robotics engineering.
I'm Kevin Hayes, and I really should have worn shoes for this.
I want to see the Riveters on MSG Networks. How simple and cheap would it be to throw one of their games on one of your 11 million channels? You could borrow the stream from the NWHL's Cross-Ice Pass, pay for closed captioning, and it would still cost less than my senior year's college textbooks. It's a PR slam dunk. It gives you weekend programming. It shows you're still the home of hockey in the tri-state area. It shows you care about women's sports since you also house the New York Liberty. But most of all, it's just the right thing to do.
Riveters head coach Chad Wiseman is a former leading scorer for the Rangers minor league team, the Hartford Wolfpack. He played with the likes of Steve Valiquette, Brandon Dubinsky, and Mark Stahl. How simple would it be to throw him on the MSG Hockey Show, or People Talking Sports, or a post-game show? They already show highlights and have players on every now and then. The time has come to take the next step and air games. You're in for the dime. Go in for the dollar.
I want to see the NWHL not just survive, but thrive, grow, expand. I want to see the NHL make a concerted effort to grow the game, like how the NBA does. The Declaration of Principles was a step in the right direction, but it's time to put your money where your mouth is. The NWHL has work to do. A lot of work to do. But they can battle back from the lows and reach the highest of highs, but they need your support. And what better metaphor can there be for this league than the comeback? That does it for Jersey Corner, and if you'll excuse me, I think I recognize myself in 10 Things I Hate About You. Time to collect some residuals!